welcome to VW Farm, Micro Farm, Big Dreams. This is the shop, and we need to do an engine rebuild on this Massey Harris 1947 model Continental engine. The motor has low compression in one of the cylinders. It's burning oil, and we're just going to tear it down and do a rebuild. So with that, let's get started. First thing we need to do is drain the oil. Get my There we go. Get this hood off. We'll remove the air cleaner cap. Muffler should be able to stay on. This is my makeshift radiator cap. It didn't have a radiator cap. It's not pressurized. It's just a thermal siphon, so there's no pressure behind it. So it's just a piece of plumbing Burnco with a cap. So we'll get that around there. Now, this cylinder here is the one with the low compression. It's at 60 and the other three at 90. I've already determined that it's the rings. I put a compression tester on, saw it was low. You put a little bit of oil on there, crank it over, and the compression came back up. So we're just going to do a rebuild. It's from the 40s, so we're expecting it to be a little worn out. I do want to drain the coolant, and I want to save it because it's fresh. And let's do that next. When I first bought this tractor, I had to put the head back on and a lot of the components. I put this on. This is the alternator for the 12-volt conversion, and I was missing some pieces. So I made this little coolant drain because it was missing the plug, and we're just going to unscrew that. We're going to put it into this gas can that I bought specifically. I was doing a thermostat in my car, but specifically to mix the coolant. It has that easy nozzle to put it back in. Always label your containers. When I first moved into this house, there was multiple containers in the garage that I found that weren't labeled, so you don't know what's in there. A lot of it was used motor oil, so we had to dispose of that. Just to give you a closer idea, right there is where it comes off the block. Right through here. I was missing the plug on the bottom half here, so I just threaded in a little elbow, went to the hardware store, got a brass nipple and got a brass ball valve that I put a plug in, and then when you're not draining it, you just put it up, put the plug in. But right now we're just getting what's left out of there. Works pretty nifty. We're gonna get this front fender off so we can remove the radiator now that the coolant's all drained. Wanted to give a shout out to one of my mom's friends over in New Mexico. Hello, glad to see that I have viewers almost across the nation. We're going to remove this radiator tube. You'll be happy to hear that it was 70, when was it, December 10th I think it was? It was 70 outside, no snow. We're getting your weather. Alright. Remove the radiator tube. Then we just have to remove this Burnco on the bottom. Remove the 4 bolts that hold the radiator in. That should all come out. There's the radiator. Now what I like to do with the bolts so I don't lose them is just temporarily put them right back into the tractor. So now we're going to remove the air cleaner, the oil filter, and these hoses. And then probably start unwiring the tractor so we can start getting ready to take the motor out. The thing about the air cleaner is it's not your filter type. There's actually an oil bath in here. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I just know that it coats this canister here, and the particulates in the air will stick to the oil and fall into the bath, and you're supposed to change it out depending on your environment after so many hours of use. So we're going to pull this oil bath off. A little watery, a little green. So dump that in our used oil. And by the way, I'm no mechanic. I'm what you call a shade tree mechanic. I'm actually an HVAC mechanic, a heating and cooling technician. So I have a little bit of mechanical ability, but you know, like, just to prove that anybody can work on this is, you know, anybody can really work on it. I just kind of read the manual and just go slow, watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I have a lot of favorites. You know, ask questions on forums. My tractor forum's a favorite. A lot of good people on there. They help me out tremendously, so thank you very much for that. So this is actually held on by the head bolts. This is held on by the head bolts, but there's probably oil in there, so we're going to take this plug out and drain the oil. This is my alternator wire, so we're going to unplug that. These, one's for the ignition, one was for the headlights. We're going to do those later, but we're going to remove the ignition wire. Just drain the oil filter. Got my oil bucket up there. I've been in this motor once before. Put a new head gasket on and put coolant in. When I had the head off, I actually found pockets of rust in the block, so I had to flush the engine out real good. So we'll do that again if we need to. There's the air cleaner assembly. Got the engine hoist on. Crowbar, let's see if we can slide this out. Forgot one fitting right here. That's the oil pressure indicator line, so we'll have to undo that. Then it should come out. Alright, we got the engine on the stand. We're just going to pull the head off. Alright, I took the spark plugs out, I loosened the head. So we're going to take that right off. We have some carbon buildup on the head here that we'll clean up when we go to reassemble. Stick that over here. That is the cylinder that has low compression. The rest of the cylinders have good compression. So let's flip this and see what's, pull the oil pan off, see what's underneath. Here's our oil pan, 1/2-inch socket. Just going to pull it off. Another good tip, label, put the bolts in bags, label them, set them in a bin. Alright, let's get that pan off. That way you remember where they all go. Okay. Okay, that one easy. Let's see. Oh. This right here is why you need to change oil. It's a little sludgy on the bottom of the pan. It's not good. It's also a little milky, so the coolant was probably mixing with it. Now, this right here looks to be our oil pump strainer. Looks in pretty good shape, no clogs. That's really good. Here's our oil dipstick. Right now I'm looking at the crankshaft. There's the crankshaft. So we're going to take the journals off so we can inspect them, and then we're going to pull the pistons right out. Looks to be a 1/2 inch socket. Alright. Alrighty. There's one. There's two. There's three. And there's four. Well, it's not the best news. Looks like that one got a little hot. That copper color and all the scoring. So that's not good at all. This one's a little bit better, but still has a lot of that copper look to it, that scoring. So that's not good at all. If we look down in here, there's our crankshaft. It's ready to come out. So that'll be what we're doing next, getting that crankshaft out of there. Wanted to also clarify, this is the bearing, not the journal. The journal is on the crankshaft. I was calling it the journal. I was calling this piece the journal. This is actually the bearing, not the journal. But as you can see, the bearing is pretty worn out. We're going to take a look at that and get new ones for this particular engine. Okay, that's the end of part one. Part two, we'll do the rest of the disassembly and get parts on order. So please stay tuned. Please subscribe to this channel, share this video, like this video, the whole 9 yards. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.